episode, another insert volume, another. Who are we? We are
Biblical Business
now. Not tomorrow, not in the past, but right now.
Presente.
Presente.
Oh,
So
wow.
I am Andre. I want you to say your first name and greet the people. What are you happy about today? I'm Andre, and I'm happy that my team is all here in the flesh. I feel like pinching each one of them to make sure that this is not a dream. All right, here we go.
In the building.
I'm Jaleel, and I'm happy that I see trees of green, red roses too. Now this is Michelle. I'm gonna pass the mic to you.
Oh, well.
Okay, I don't know how to follow that.
This is why in our office they say that we're a rambunctious crowd that hinders the rest of them from being productive. But we love us.
We like to have fun, you know.
Well, hello, good morning. I'm Michelle, and I'm just happy to be with the team again. I had a moment where I had to step away. But I'm so happy to be here. You know, some people are like, hey, we could have done Zoom. I was like, no. You know, I enjoyed being here. I was happy to have to get here today.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mara, and I am happy today because the sun is shining and I'm healthy. Absolutely.
Health as well.
I love it. Miss Michelle, what are we talking about today?
Woo! Well, today's title is Harness Gratitude to Transform Your Perspective and Boost Success. Boom. And there's a lot of pieces to that. So, harness gratitude. I think that's where I want to start. But what we're going to head into is to transform your perspective and boost success. And this really stems from a wonderful Tuesday night that we had here.
Grand Tuesday. A grand evening.
A grand
Festive
evening.
event.
A
A gala of sorts.
And so maybe let's just start there. Like, what is some gratitude from that night?
Well, we had our annual pitch event. It was the culminating event for Sharks at the Beach, which is our business incubator. 12 weeks, grueling, intense, working with a cohort to help them get prepared so that they're able to communicate their message clearly, fill out their business model canvas, understanding their target market, understanding the dynamics of their business, the finances, the vision, the marketing, just all the different touch points, understanding customer problems and conversations and the interviews that need to be held, just really dynamic opportunity for them to connect and to be in different industries. We always have such a vast array. We're interested in the different industries that emerge in our program, even seeing things that we have never heard of as a business, being a business that is making money. So with that being said, we want them to be able to get that 3-minute pitch that's compelling, 3 slides, and they came together, and I'm grateful that they showed out. If you're watching right now, man, and you pitched, pat yourself on the back, kudos, applause, man, all that stuff. I wish I had the air horn. Actually, air horns are annoying to me, but I wish I could do something that was similar to an air horn. Maybe a shofar or something. That's annoying to someone else. Well, I mean, I have Jalil. He's just the living instrument. So there you go. But yeah, that's what I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the people actually who put the courage together and they executed. You guys did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. It was, events are crazy because not everything will ever go as you plan it.
Never!
Ever. It's always like expect the unexpected. Every time you go to start a project, just think that it's going to take more time and it's going to be more expensive than you thought at the beginning of it. But really just walking with God through it.
Sorry.
Real talk. Walking with God through it and having a team that walked with God through it, we were all able to carry a piece in the midst of many swirls of chaos. And literally, we just we just made lemonade out of the lemons, and it was a blessing. It was such a blessing, and the entrepreneurs came through. You could feel the love in the room. People were there encouraging them, especially because stage fright is a thing. Public speaking and the fear of it is a thing.
It's
But
true.
it was an environment of a packed, in person. The room was packed, and then we had a bunch of viewers online. We literally crushed every goal that we had set for this thing. It's just such a blessing, and just the spirit of everyone there.
Don't hog up all the good news.
Okay, I'm just okay.
Still got 2 more
I'm just
people on that
okay. Well,
say
my
what they're happy
heart
about.
sings with joy for the whole thing. My heart just sings with joy for the
There
whole
we
thing.
go.
Go ahead, Michelle.
I'll let Mara go.
Well, I love the fact that we were just surrounded by support. So
Yeah.
that is where my gratitude lies. I'm always thankful for, people checking up on me and what I have going on and seeing if they want to play a bigger role in it. I had peers, I had some of my parents,
Let's
you know,
go.
and this is just what I do. They don't have to support me, but the fact that they came to support the people that I
Yeah.
support, I'm always trying to be a blessing,
They
and
came to see about you.
to have people walk that walk with me is great.
That's a blessing.
Oof. I was gonna say something deep, and I might still say it, but
It's loading.
I feel like the Bible talks a lot about, that blind faith. How when you don't, we didn't know what Tuesday was gonna look like. We had aspirations. We had, we put in the work every week. The entrepreneurs did, the coaches did, and it's just like we showed up every day to just make it happen. At every moment we were talking about it, we were thinking about it, we were working towards it, and it's just, and that's why today is so big to talk about the perspective piece, because when you are just, instead of we could have been so occupied about thinking about all the worries of oh my God, are we gonna get all these people in there? Instead, the attitude was, we're gonna get all these people in there. Where are we at right now? How many more people do we need? How can we get the word? Yeah, I did this, I did that. And instead, the perspective was completely different as to, is it going to be good? Who's going to be there? Who can we get in the room? It's no, we all had faith that the right people would be in the room.
That's right.
The entrepreneurs were going to be exactly where they needed to be on that night and feel confident about themselves. And so I think that's where my gratitude goes towards, just the after feels so awesome because it's wow, we did it. And then just receiving the text messages and the emails and stuff from people who attended or people who watched, people who pitched. It's just to see the transformation in them, it's beautiful. And that's where my gratitude lies, that we have been able to support people really transformed. That's what I said in our meeting earlier. I was we really did it. Urban Impact talks about breaking cycles. In these 12 weeks,
oh my gosh,
we broke some cycles,
Broke
multiple
some
cycles.
Yes.
And I just love that. That's where
Yes.
my gratitude lies.
Yes, no, that's huge. I mean, we had participants join the program that didn't believe in themselves prior to the program, and they were surrounded by people that were not speaking life into them. We had participants that dealt with all kind of things during the program that almost got them out of the program. I mean, there's always attrition in every program that you run. Not everyone that starts with you will finish with you. And there's always the resilient few that will make it, that believe in themselves and they're dream enough to say, hey, you know what? Through the circumstances, I will keep pushing. We had people that changed their business plans and kept pushing. We had people that were dealing with family trauma and drama and kept pushing. You know what I'm saying? And I think to witness that, past the performance, to witness people with the right environment of encouragement and love, to see them be able to step on a stage and do their thing and past the money, to receive the reward of an experience of a testimony of endurance for themselves.
That's right.
That just being a part of that was like, it's hard to put really words to. Like God is good. God is good. Perspective.
Andre, you look like you had something to say earlier.
I'm pondering the difference between perception versus perspective. So people, and so I was looking at, there's a infographic that I had saved that is of two people, and there's a number lying between them. And so depending on where they're at, one person is saying it's the number 6, the other person's saying it's the number 9. They're arguing back and forth about what they see because of how they perceive it. And so someone who can walk into a situation and they go through our cohort and they come to the end, because let's talk about that. Let's talk about if you didn't hit the top spot and you didn't get that capital that was available, was it still a win? Is it still in the positive column? Is there still something to be grateful about?
Yeah.
Or should you be super grateful because you were the one who won and you took home and maybe you didn't expect to win, but then you won. So now should you be super grateful? And then the ones that didn't, should you not be grateful? You get what I'm saying? So perception and perspective, what is to be gained through when you go through all the process, but you don't necessarily get the outcome that it is that you wanted. So how does perception play into that?
I'm gonna pass it to the left.
Okay. Well,
A little softball.
I think from what I observed, we had a little rock star team here. They really stepped up and delivered in the end. So they all felt accomplished, and you could tell just by the demeanor afterwards. I mean, it's no lie that in previous sessions, some people weren't that pleased, but this group, it was like the energy was just so motivating, I don't think any of them felt like they lost anything. They felt like they had a great return on their investment of time, the relationships that they built. I mean, these are really some rock stars. So I look forward to hearing the benefits long term, because it's gonna pay. You teach them how to fish.
Come on.
We gonna eat one day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Can somebody out of this team share a time when there was something that you wanted and you expected it and then you didn't get it, but then you still maybe adjusted your perception and then you would actually gain something from it, though you didn't see it at first? You get what I'm saying? So it didn't have the outcome that you thought of, like, oh, I really wanted this. And it could be in business, it could be in life, it could be something financial in particular, it could be a goal that you set. You're like, I set out to do this, but I tried out for the team, but I actually got cut. And I was balling all the people. When I was playing one-on-one or with groups of the people who made the team, I was killing. But then when I got to the tryout, they didn't pick me. Like how do you deal with the perception, and what can still be gained through that perception, through a changing of perception, or maybe an adjusting? I don't know.
Well, man, I have a few different stories that pop into
how
my
much time
mind.
you got?
I'm like, how much time do we got? You know what I'm saying? I'll go, since we're on biblical business now, I'll tell a business story. And so this is when I was a mortgage loan officer doing real estate finance. And, in that position, you're essentially serving customers, you're giving out free advice, and you don't get paid for, you only get paid for done. That's what you get paid for. All right? You get paid for complete, finished. Everything that goes into the process, from the consultation piece to the application piece to doing a bunch of research, reading a bunch of guidelines to figure out people's financing solutions, and then getting them under contract, and then going through the underwriting, and then getting to the clear to close, and then making sure everything's dialed in. You don't get paid for any of that until the thing closes. So working in that environment for years changed the way I operated, and there were some deals that I did not win. multiple deals. I've lost a lot of deals actually. I lost more deals than I made. And the blessing is that it's really a numbers game. You got to put yourself out there and have more at bats. That's really the goal. If you eventually you get so many at bats that, like, if I'm batting for 100 of them and I get 10, that means, okay, I need a bat for 200 and I'll get my 20. And my 20 will pay me very well. So I've lost more than I've won, but what happened to me in that process is I started to, so one of the things I used to do in the beginning was, all right, it's testimony time, okay? We're learning, testimony time. Client comes in, says they're able to do X, Y, Z. I'm doing all the numbers for them, and then being able to kind of pencil out, hey, what their calculated loan amount is, and then from that loan amount, how much money I would potentially make. So I'm counting commissions before the deal even closes, okay? And what that did to me is I became emotionally attached to the deal. And so if something went wrong with the deal, now my emotions are going up and down with the deal. And something can always happen. Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So what I had to learn was to detach myself from the deal and detach myself from the result. I'm not going to win everything. And when I learned that changed my perspective.
There we go.
And then it became, okay, well, how can I serve this person to the best of my ability and meet them where they're at? And then I started to say, okay, Lord, if I get, because then it's competitive. Sometimes they'll shop you, they'll somebody else see the prices and fees and all those things. And sometimes it's pennies on the dollar on based on what their decision is going to be. But when my perspective became, okay, whatever God has for me is for me, and what God doesn't have for me is for me. If it doesn't close with me, then it wasn't mine to begin with. That was the perspective that I gained in going through the pain of losing multiple deals.
That's good.
But because that was my new perspective, now my win wasn't if they signed with me or not. My win was, did I provide the best service up front possible?
There we go.
And I can control that. That's always in my control. If I can over deliver what their expectations were.
There you go.
And because of that shift, I had a peace. So when I'm talking to people now, it's like, hey, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, no problem. Because in my mind, I'm already telling myself,
Right.
if you close with me, it's because God had you close with me. If you don't close with me, it's because God didn't want you to close with me. Either way, whatever research I did for you in the process, I learned something new that I can now carry into my next conversation. So that perspective
Savvy.
really,
Yeah.
that's my testimony on perspective and how I was able to
Good.
win even if I lost, per se, you know.
Yeah.
So
Good stuff.
yeah, God is good.
Change your perspective.
As you navigate adulthood, responsible adulting, you know, there's many times there's opportunities that cross your path that you may consider. You may actually go after them, you know, get that first or that second interview. But if you don't get that position, like, it's just not the right time. You know, that has to be your perspective, because there's many, many other doors that open. You know, just remain open yourself, right? And stay prayed up, right?
It's like a trust in the timing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you harnessed the gratitude.
Come on.
Almost like you harnessed, you were able to harness.
Yeah.
And then you transformed your perspective
Mm.
to boost success.
Mm. You keep going. I was gonna say, kind of reminds me of framing and reframing. You want to speak to that?
I think you should speak to that, because you're the framing, reframing guy, and I've been waiting for like double dutch for him to jump in and start doing cartwheels and the unicycle, the whole nine.
Okay, all right. So framing and reframing, it's one of the concepts that we talk about in our principles course. In the principles course, if you guys didn't
Give him
know,
a snapshot.
this is it's one of the courses that and the programs that we offer to help entrepreneurs lock in the mindset required to become successful. And you get to practice those principles.
How much of entrepreneurship is a mental game?
Sheesh.
How much of life is a mental game?
It's what if we go by Pareto's law, 80-20.
There we go.
80% is mental, 20% is tactical.
That's good.
And so when it comes to framing and reframing, ultimately we all exist in a frame of thinking. And I watched this video recently with Myron Golden and Dr. Benjamin Hardy, and he talked about how time, from a psychological standpoint, is just a tool. Time is literally only a tool. And your present will determine your past, and your future will determine your present. And so, meaning that when you have a frame of reference, so something happened in the past, you can either think that this happened for my good,
To me or for me.
to me, or for me. And if you're thinking for me, now you're able to use the past to create a better present, and then your future is going to now determine what you decide to do. Your future vision determines your present actions. And it's a powerful concept at framing and reframing. And that's how you can, when Andre was alluding to the story of there's two people that are looking at the same thing, right? The 6 or the 9. Depending on your perspective, you're going to see two different things. And so in your own life, when you look back through your life, you can either say, hey, this happened to me or this happened for me. And if you're a person of faith, if you believe in Jesus, then you're going to be able to trust and say, hey, everything that he does works out for my good. So even when you're going through something and something unexpected happens, which ultimately that's going to be the story of your life, because the perception of control is really an illusion anyway. Now you're going to be able to see everything that comes into your life as, okay, God, what are you doing in this? You're going to approach it with curiosity instead of angst or anxiety or like all the other negative emotions typically come from like, so I have a counselor, you know what I'm saying? Because it's, and the abundance of counselors, there's safety. So I have a counselor, and I learned this from him. He said there's two sides of things, all right? You have on this side, you have control, and under control, there's anxiety, depression, like all the negative emotions you get under control. And on this side, you have trust. And under trust is flexibility, peace, calm. And the goal is, for me, I had issues with control, really. I wanted to be able to, as much as possible, control as much as possible in my life, which resulted in me having more anxiety about things. Because now I'm like, if it's not going the way that I intended or planned, then what's going on? And he's like, well, if you live on this trust side, then you don't got to worry about it because God's got you anyway.
That's good.
So back to framing and reframing, as you're thinking about your life, as you're thinking about your business, the things that have happened in your life, even if you think, oh my gosh, this sounds like a bunch of junk. I don't even know. Like Jaleel, your whole team is phony. Like this gratitude thing, it doesn't even make sense. Just try thinking about an event in your life and saying, what did I gain from that? Was it a strengthened character? Was it what not to do? Who not to talk to? How to communicate? There's likely something that in your past, even as tragic as it could have been, that has given you a strength now that you would not have had if you did not endure that thing. And so you can use that as a tool to empower you or disempower you, and the choice is always yours. And that's the long short of
You
framing.
can get with this?
Or you can get with that.
Oh, he knew the reference. Whoa.
All right, anyways.
I was about to say, man, what is it called? TED Talk number 2?
Yeah.
Last week, Jalil went on a TED Talk.
He was preaching.
Today,
He had
TED
the
Talk part
sweater
2. Everybody follow Jalil on social media. for his
Biblical
TED
business
Talks.
now.
Man, I had a couple thoughts during that, but you went on for so long, and it was also good
I'm
that
sorry.
it was good. It was really good stuff. Mara, did anything spark for you?
Yeah, sometimes you really got to recognize your gifts, and it could be something that stemmed from a trauma from the past, So being able to recognize where you are and like you said, where you want to go. We've talked about that or referenced it several times in these talks when it comes to your business. If you want to be that CEO, what are you doing right now to make that happen? And what from your past can you reflect upon to just move forward? Like, what is it that you really long for yourself and for your family? So find that strength deep down inside of you and make it happen. Go after it.
Come on.
I was doing some writing as earlier this week and kind of studying, and one of the things is the word for in the book of Numbers. If you take the first 5 books of the scripture, called the Torah, and you can call the whole book the Torah, which means instructions. One of the books is just like Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Numbers in Hebrew means in the wilderness. That's what it means. So it's
Mhm.
literally talking about what they're doing while in the wilderness. Now, you think about the wilderness of your life, that it's the backside of the desert, the hard times, the things that don't seem pleasant. What can be gained from that? So when we even said that, it's that every single person here sitting here, despite the fact that we're high energy and we're smiling and we go through things, and some of us go through things in real time.
Yeah.
And so how do we press forward and persevere to get to the goal? What is to be gained from it? Because if we sit in our own sorrow, if it's I've spent a lot of time with Jaleel in the last couple of years, and it's funny because I told him, I would tell him that I have to get myself out of the habit, and I encourage him not to. I say, don't navel gaze. Don't be navel gazing. Don't be staring in your own circumstance and situation. If you look up, right? If you look outward, then there's a world of, you can bring value to people's life. You can change, you could use the gift that, as Mara even alluded to, the gift that you've been given to actually add value and solve problems to others. You can please the creator, and then you can serve people with the gift, talent, and ability that you have. There's something in your wheelhouse that you possess. You're an answer to prayer to someone. You're a change, you change the atmosphere when you show up and people are around. So come out of your own sorrow and looking internally and get to the focus of like, okay, what is to be gained through the hard things that I'm going through? Because if we do shift the way that we see it and we say, what did I learn from that? Wow, and the fact that it looked like everything was conspiring against me to destroy me, I'm still here. So I'm here for a reason. That means that I'm even stronger because the creator is backing me, because the creator is for me, because he's my heavenly father. So that's my encouragement, is that I think that as a team, we're sitting here and we're reflecting on how do you deal with the hard stuff of life. So when we come off a euphoria and a high of, somebody could have, I never thought I could pitch. They got up there and they pitched, they delivered in the event, and then they're getting all these kudos, all that. Then they kind of go to reflective time and they might feel a low of, some reminder comes in their mind of, oh, blah, blah, blah. What about this? This is not adjusted in your life yet, and this. Well, framing, reframing, right? Perspective. What are you going to focus on? Because whatever I give my attention to, that is where my energy is, where my focus goes, my energy is going to flow. So if I sit there and I could use my imagination, I could use my, the mind could have it could have many functions, but if you see it as two primary focuses of the mind, purposes of the mind, the number one is that you have a memory to be able to replay the victories, to be able to replay the growth that's happened, to be able to replay the things that you've overcame. And then you have an imagination to be able to pre-play that which is the desired future that is your purpose, that is your calling, that what the creator's promised you when you walk with him. So you can pre-play with your imagination, and you can replay the victories and learn and the things that you've learned and gained. Or we can sit in sorrow and be, as you said, it's like future and present oriented or past oriented. So when you're stuck in the idea of something that you can't change, when you talked about being able to control things and not being able to control things, when you said, I can control my effort, I can control what kind of customer experience they get by what I give out. I don't know how they're going to receive it, but I know I could have been A1. Some of us, we step into places, and we talked about this in previous episodes, where we step into places and the customer service is A1. We're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even have to blink, and my drink was refilled. They came through. If you were meeting with a family member, a friend, or a loved one, they didn't even interrupt your conversation, but they were so smooth the way they brought stuff. You was like, dang, this was A1. You don't even hesitate when it comes to tip time. I hope. I hope we ain't cheap out here. It's 2024. I hope we realize sowing the seed, right? But you're not, when it comes to tip time, you ain't even hesitating. You actually reaching for oh man, how can I exceed the amount that's on here? Because they went above and beyond, and they were just a blessing to us. So I think about that with our mind and how we see things. It's a very powerful vehicle to be able to get some encouragement and some momentum, or we can stay stagnant and stale and not grow.
Come on. I heard it said that faith is defined by the things that you cannot see, the things that you can imagine but you cannot see. Fear is defined by the things that you can imagine but cannot see. The
That's good.
choice
False evidence.
is yours.
That's good.
The choice is always yours. And so, and that's the beautiful thing. That's really what we're designed in his image, the image of the Creator. We create
That's good.
with our words, with the words that we choose to think about in our minds. Like you're talking to yourself all the time.
That's real.
And so there's always an ongoing conversation. So that even the words that you choose to like when I started researching and learning about words and the power of our words and how God created with words, I started to even edit and be cognizant of how like the words that I think in,
That's good.
because eventually those words come out. And so it's like yes, most people are like, oh, just like cussing or something, because that's something everybody can hear on the outside, right? It's like, oh, cussing.
And you kiss your mom with that mouth?
Right. People like hear what's on the outside, but you have an internal dialogue going that eventually reflects itself on the
That's
external.
real.
So if you start creating the world that you want to see with your words on the inside, eventually you're going to start using your mouth to create the words that you want to see on the outside. And then eventually you can walk in that world that was formed by the words that you chose to think about. Anyways.
All good.
I remembered
Gratitude.
what came to my mind when you were speaking, because Andre kind of talked about it again, but Andre shared this with me just a couple months ago. I feel like it's like you grow in confidence in what you can do by doing it. Like the more that you actually do it, the more that you're going to start believing that you're going to do it.
Come on.
So I think
That's
maybe you said this when I first started here even, but you like, you know, if your intentions are to, you know, become more physically active, we'll stand up, do 10 squats right now. If that, like,
Bingo.
start telling your brain that that's what you're gonna do and doing it. Like, not just say it, but actually get up and do the motion. Your brain is now going to start, oh, okay, we're on this. This is what we're doing.
Yep.
So that is another piece.
Yeah, to me, it's the law of diminishing intent. So the further we move away from a goal, the harder it is to execute on it. So you state something and you say, oh, I want to work out, like she just said, but then I'm going to start in the fall. What does that even mean? Your brain registers that as false, lying. You're lying, right? Versus you say, I want to work out, and you did 10 push-ups, you did 10 squats.
Yeah.
You send a signal to your brain that I'm serious about this. You're like, I'm a writer. I was thinking that last night because I had to finish doing some stuff. I'm writing a book, and I was sitting there, and I said, I got to finish getting this information out to this person on my team. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I want to watch the game. It's the final last game that I want to see. But everything in me tells me, because my children are doing their homework, they're locked in, they're doing their things, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, I really want to watch the game. But I said verbally out loud and in my mind that I'm going to get home and I'm going to work on this. I'm going to focus on writing. And I was so glad that I opted, which doesn't always happen. It's more the opposite, that I'm not doing it, that I did it, because as I was doing it, it's like everything else was moving in motion. It's like, hey, I'm moving in motion, doing that. While I'm doing that, now the same moment, and it's not accidental, same moment I'm focused on doing that, locked in on doing that, I get the email, oh, here's the other part of the audio book. I sent the file to you. Someone sent it to me. They don't even know that I'm working on that one part. Then, the cover designer later that night, here's the new animations and the new illustrate. And I'm just like, it moves when you move in the direction. I'm encouraging this too, just like she pointed that out. It moves towards you because you're serious about it.
It's real.
This is out of the scripture. It's like when you're moving towards a destination, the truth is moving towards you. This is not like some, The Secret or some new age garbage. This is the truth of how it works, is that when you move towards a goal, the things that are assigned to you are moving towards you because you're moving in that direction. Versus, and then I was glad, because then I saw the game and the team I wanted to win lost anyways. They got blown out. So when I watched it, I was finally, like I said, if I would have been watching this in real time, I would have been disappointed, but then it would have affected my energy to do what I needed to do. So I was glad I didn't watch it. I was like, wow, I was like, what is Luka? Is that it?
Doncic.
Luka got his money. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie and old boy got their money.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, they got their money.
They got
Win or
their
lose,
money.
they're already winning because they're
That's right.
doing
Yeah.
what they want to do.
That's right.
But we're in the situation to be able to set up ourselves to do something that can provide equities for you.
Come on.
And I just wanted to circle back to what you're saying, like, in perspective, right? In this place of gratitude, like, all the participants every week, they took the feedback and they took it with gratitude and
Yeah.
positiveness. Like, thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for meeting with me. Thank you
It's
for this
real.
program. Like, thank you. I didn't win, but thank you. I believe in myself
Yeah.
more than ever. I'm gonna fight for me more than ever.
Yeah.
You know, I'm ready to do your next program. When are you unrolling that?
Good.
Like, I'm ready to go pitch somewhere else. You know, like all, and just like how you're saying, like that diminishing of
Law of
intent, the
diminishing
law of
intent.
diminishing intent. Like, they are constantly showing up. So just shout out again to everybody
Yeah.
who pitched on Tuesday. You all showed up. You made the changes. You let your mind know that you're serious about what you're doing.
Come on.
And God is meeting you at where you are in the work and with your heart. And He's going to work through it with you. But you just got to keep doing it. Just
Yeah.
keep showing up. Don't watch that game you thought you was going to watch. Don't watch that movie you thought you was going to
Yeah,
watch.
lock in.
YouTube don't give us a strike.
Oh yeah, actually.
Right.
Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah.
Daniel Tiger says it. You know?
Daniel
Okay.
Tiger. Shout out. Wow.
Yeah.
Never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I guess we can just close out this show with gratitude. Thank you to everyone who showed up on Tuesday.
Yes.
Thank you to our supporters,
Yes.
Yeah.
Every
to our
volunteer.
sponsors.
Sponsors.
Yes.
to our team, you know,
Yes.
everyone from Urban Impact that showed
Yeah.
up, to family members that showed up, the participants that poured their heart into this,
Our photographer,
our photographer.
Tafik
Man,
of Original
thank
Studios, went off. He went off. I mean, the dude was working, and it was pro bono, and he was excellent, and the edits were amazing, and he even
We're gonna get those out.
Quick.
for y'all.
quick the turnaround. Like, if you ever have the
Excellence.
pleasure to work with him, Tafik of Original Studios, he's out here in
Yes.
Seattle. Hit him up because he did such an amazing job.
Book him. Book
Like,
him.
literally,
book him.
we just had to shout you out, bro. I hope you're watching. Very well.
Yes. Who else? The coaches. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
We had
Everyone
some
from Spring
new
GR
coaches
out
this
of
year.
Michigan.
Yes.
Thank
Great.
you guys.
Chris, we love you.
Yeah, Manika
And
Care,
Care,
thank you.
yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Special shout out to Olivia of Liv's Table.
Yes.
Amazing
Hey.
interview spotlight and catering.
And
job.
catering. Yeah.
And our judges.
Yes.
Man.
U.S.
Shout out.
Bank. JP Morgan. Well, I'll say your names. Tiffany. JP Morgan.
Rocky, Tiffany, Rocky, Katie,
Paris.
Paris. Yeah.
Paris.
And
Appreciate
Katie.
y'all. Thank
Yes.
y'all. For real. Y'all killed it. And they really added like a whole nother flavor to the show with their feedback, their commentary, their
Constructive.
questions. Very, yeah.
Very deliberate and intentional. Took time.
Yeah.
Stuff that they can walk away with meat
Yeah.
that they can use. So I hope if you were a participant, even if you weren't a participant,
You
but
can take
especially if
notes.
you weren't, go back, watch that, and take notes.
Yes.
Get the game, the wisdom, the insight
Yeah.
that was given to help take you to the next level.
Yeah. Very well
Yeah.
done.
And go follow all of these. If you haven't watched the pitch competition, if you weren't live or you didn't watch online, go watch it. It's recorded, it's posted. And go and follow and support these local entrepreneurs. Meet them at their work. Give them feedback.
Yes.
You know, they have mindsets of wanting to win, and they will win. And they are winning.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
just support them in their walk.
And thank you to the alumni that came.
Oh yes, and all the alumni that came through. Thank you guys for coming through. That was awesome. It's a lot of love when you see people that came through the program come to support the next cohort. Like, that's special. That doesn't happen all the time.
So
But it happened
excited.
here, so it was awesome.
We're happy for y'all.
So do all the YouTubey stuff. You know what the usual. You know the drill. comment, like, subscribe, leave, hit the notification bell. We're building our channel, so don't give up on us. Don't give up on us. We went up by 400%. I showed Jalil at the end of the event. We went up by 400% in subscribers.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So that means that's you. Join more. Tell more people to join us on this journey. We're very encouraged by all that we see, and our team wants to say thank you
Yes, thank
Thank you.
you.
for everything you do.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you in advance for telling a friend that they could be on that stage, setting
Yes.
themselves up for success in our next session. So feel free to go to our website and leave your
Impact
name so
Seattle.
we can follow up.
Reimpact Seattle.
.org.
Muchas
Excellent.
gracias. Dios te bendiga.
Shalom!